Dude, I am going to make you a millionaire so fast. Like, I'm so confident.
Honestly, I feel like you've saved me many months in 40 minutes. Kind of crazy.
I have something so good for you guys today. This is a full masterclass on making $1 million in 12 months or less. I'm chatting with an influencer that you might know as Captain Sinbad. His name is Nikhil, and Nikhil is this awesome YouTuber with this big audience. He makes these amazing lifestyle videos and comedy videos, and he set out on a journey to make $1 million in a year or less. And so I reached out to him and I was like, this is what I do. This is my full-time living, is I help entrepreneurs build $1 million businesses in 12 months or less. It's the title of my book. Can I help you? And he was like, yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to. And so we got on this call and we went through how he can use his audience to make $1 million in a year. And when you watch this, you're gonna see us break down how he picks his best opportunity, how to launch it to his audience in a way that's cool and ethical and doesn't feel icky. I know that's so hard for so many entrepreneurs, is how do I build an audience and also sell things in a way that doesn't feel weird and icky and salesy? And we do that in this video. At the end of this video, we have covered the entire process of how he can launch a brand new business and make $1 million in 12 months. Now, let me set this up a little bit for you guys. Nikhil came into this call just wanting to make $1 million in 12 months and open to a bunch of different directions. And I came into this conversation with the playbook for launching a physical products brand to an audience. That's the way that I've seen work the most predictably. But very quickly into this conversation, I could tell that that's not the direction Nikhil wants to go. And so it would be wrong of me to try and steer him away from where he's already got momentum and try to make him fit into my playbook. So the conversation quickly changes away from physical products brands to how do we take where he wants to go and where he has momentum and just use it to make $1 million.
Hey, Nikhil, how are you?
Good, man. It's good to be talking to you.
Appreciate it. I don't have an agenda for this call. I'm just here to, discover more about your goals and how I can help and hope to point you in the right direction. So, what would make this a really good use of your time today?
Guess one thing I wanted to run by you is like everyone else is pushing me towards digital products, like a membership community. And the plan right now is to shoot 80 modules. I did a poll for my viewers and I asked them what do you want to learn most from me? And I said YouTube, how to grow on YouTube, the transformation from boyhood to manhood, which is not language I would use, but someone told me to use that. And that one got 51%. I was like, oh, I can't believe people want this. Especially want it from me. And then some other things like dating and something else. And YouTube is only 13%, but my YouTube one-on-one coaching is half the channel's revenue. I think I charge $1,000 to $4,000, for recurring monthly clients on that. So a way of making that more scalable, digitized was, I thought, a good move. But after reading your book, it seems like the majority of the book is talking about physical products as being superior, and then fulfilling inventory, keeping that going. And then as soon as one product is decently successful, launching the second product. Why physical over digital, I guess?
Well, first of all, before I even answer that, is the goal $1 million in a year?
Yep.
And does that mean profit? Does that mean revenue? How do you know that you've accomplished that goal? Because I don't, obviously I'm biased because I know what worked for me and works for thousands of people who follow me.
Yep.
But we're just going to try and allocate our attention towards whatever gets you that goal in the way that matches who you are and what you want to do the fastest and the easiest. So is that still the goal? And where are you kind of in the process of that?
It is still the goal. The biggest month I have had is $40,000 in gross revenue, of which 15K went back to my team. So it feels very far away, honestly. Sure. I guess I'd have to reliably hit at least a couple 100K months to pay everyone and still keep. So I guess I would say success is $100K a month in gross revenue. If I could pull that off 12 months in a row, then the team would be paid $250,000, and then it would actually leave $1 million over for me.
Yeah.
It seems insane, but I know it's probably doable.
I'm glad you said that too, because to be honest with you, such a layup. 100K a month consistently. Such an obvious layup for us to hit starting in, a few months.
I'm sometimes I'm unsure of my audience loyalty to buy things from me because they come to me for like funny videos or
right. So that's my perception of your brand right now, that the things that really grow you are the humor videos, which it's totally obvious, right? And that's going to grow the wide net. Those tend not to be buyers. And so the thing that I recommend to somebody that's in your space is you do not need to launch, whether it's a physical or a digital product, you don't need to launch something that appeals to the entire base. In fact, that would be a mistake because you're not going to appeal to a wide base that comes to you for comedy and dating and all of these other things. That is the benefit to having a wide audience like you have. But the drawback is that it can be hard to monetize with something specific. But what this does is, if you are willing to pick one specific subset that you serve on the customer side, you have all the firepower that you need to be able to get to $100,000 a month consistently. No problem, layup, easy.
Damn.
In fact, the sort of double-edged sword here is there are probably 3 to 5 ideas that could get you to the $100,000 per month. And you're feeling tense about it because you're not sure which one to pick, when in reality, all of them would theoretically work.
Yeah.
If you were to do a dating product, we could take that to $100,000 a month within about 6 months. If you picked a YouTube course, that would probably have the highest perceived value for the market. So, but it would be the smallest, which is why only 13% of people chose it in your poll. And then if you were to have a physical product, you'd have the lowest profit margins, but the widest reach. So that would get to $100,000 per month. So they all would work. The real question that I think is the X factor is, where do you feel natural interest, curiosity, or dare I say joy or passion, even though those words don't really fit what I'm going for? Where is there curiosity for you where you would actually find excitement out of creating something?
I'm surprised I'd be saying this because so much of the channel is like alpha male-ish, but I think it is YouTube growth, because that actually captures the process of becoming a good storyteller is very high effort and energetic, and like, you have to get after it a little bit to get things done. So a lot of the personal development elements could be captured inside. And then in myself, I would know that I'm very tactically giving value. Like, I don't know I like to work out. I'm not really that manly of a guy. I mean, that's how I feel myself. So I feel like the YouTube thing is like, or the transformation thing, I feel a little bit almost more uncomfortable about it. But the YouTube, I like learning how the algorithm works. I feel personally satisfied when my videos when people go, oh, wow, that was amazing. And then I also would know within myself that I'm actually giving a ton of value, because growing a YouTube channel is a valuable thing for people.
So I want to say back to you something that you kind of glossed over here, which is the fact that you really feel like you could deliver a lot of value for that audience. And what's beautiful about that is, if you were to go to your audience and say that the direction that you were going was that because you knew you could create a lot of value, and you don't really want to monetize the alpha male piece of this or the dating side of this, or you want to express that and share the personal journey, but you know you can provide value for the 13% of people that said that, it actually builds some goodwill with your audience, because your audience just heard you say, I'm not trying to monetize you. I'm not trying to monetize personal development. I'm not trying to monetize the alpha male status. In fact, I feel a little ingenuine doing that or monetizing that. But where I know I create a lot of value is for people who are building businesses on YouTube, because I know all the buttons to push. Do you see how that actually builds goodwill with your audience and allows them to see like, oh, he's actually just creating this content to benefit me. I never need to spend any money with this guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm harping on this point because you can say that to your audience, and it adds a new level of their depth in their appreciation and experience with you and your content when you're now talking to them from a business setting, but you're not trying to monetize them. You can share the personal journey that happens with entrepreneurship, which is brilliant content. And it allows people to experience you in a different way and be part of this journey without them feeling like they're being sold anything at all. And then if someone decides that they want to go on the YouTube route, they spend the $1,000 to go through your training and your course. Forgive me for beating this dead horse.
No,
but is that landing with you?
It totally is. Yeah, you talk a lot about like, if you're confused about what to do, go back to your customers and like find out ways to make them happy. I like your approach in that way. That's an interesting thing, because everyone else tells me to monetize the transformation from boyhood to manhood thing.
But you don't feel genuine in that.
I don't. I'm like, I don't really.
You don't do it.
Yeah.
And what I would suggest instead is to say that as part of your transformation from boyhood to manhood, you're building a business which feels really uncomfortable for you. Yeah. And you're learning how to make $1 million, which feels really impossible for you. And so you're going to be, and as part of that, you don't want to use the audience as the thing you siphon off for. You want to go build it on your own, which of course will encourage your audience to trust you more, and then they'll follow along. But it won't feel like a right hook at all if you are doing the thing that you know where you can provide the most value and letting your audience be your audience.
Now, right here, you can see Nikhil kind of debating where he should put his energy and where he should build a business. And you also hear that he surveyed his audience and asked them, where might you want to spend money? And the lowest chosen option was a YouTube strategy course. But I asked Nikhil, where is your interest? Where is your energy? Because most people will say, all right, well, the data shows me that I should go out here and I should build this type of business, but it doesn't match up with their energy and their interest. I see this as an opportunity for Nikhil, because now we can set it up to match his interest and his excitement and not compromise his audience. So it won't even feel like a sales pitch to his audience if we do this really well. So instead of saying, well, most people want the man transformation course, let's do that, we completely flip the thing and we say, your interest matches what the lowest percentage is. So let's find a way to leverage your interest and make it so this doesn't even seem like a sales pitch, since only a small percentage of people want that. And you're gonna see why I think that is gonna be the secret to managing him creating a great responsive audience while still building $1 million business.
On that note, since you gave this example of like just letting them know, like, hey, I don't feel like monetizing this thing, do you have any thoughts about when doing a product launch, like hiring out the copywriters or the people who do the email sequence and stuff like that? Because something
I have
was
thoughts on this.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just hear your thoughts. Yeah.
So if you are launching to a brand new audience that does not know who you are, then you should hire people to write the copy, do the landing pages, and do all that stuff.
Yep.
If you are launching to an audience that knows you, I would suggest that you launch with the minimal amount of copy, the minimal amount of tech, and it could be a headline, a video, and a buy button.
Oh, really?
Yes. So this is why I'm so confident that you can get to the $100,000 within 6 months, because you have internal trust with people that know you. You do not need to work very hard for the sales process. So a mentor of mine, his name's Travis, he compares sales to golfing. He says that sales is learning to put the ball in the hole. Marketing is putting the ball as close to the hole as possible. So there's the driver, there's the chip shot, there's getting it really close to the hole. People who don't know how to do that, they have to be really good salespeople. They have to be really good putters. But people who are marketers / content creators always are getting the ball closer to the hole, closer to the hole, closer to the hole. So the more you've done this, the easier it is to just tap it into the hole.
Yeah.
And that's the case with you, is you have all this trust. You have people who've been following you for years on a variety of different topics. You could sell couches and there were people who would buy. Someone would buy. Not a lot of people, but some people would. So in your case, if you're selling anything that is remotely relevant to your audience, my suggestion would be that you minimize the sales process to be as short as possible, as simple as possible. The video could be like, hey, it's me. You know why you're here. Hit the button.
Really? Oh, crazy.
And you would make some sales. It's not like it would be the most perfect sales thing in the world, but if you're selling something for $1,000, there's going to be 45 to 50 people who buy as soon as you launch, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So put $50,000 in your pocket and then we complicate it.
Yep.
This analogy is so important. Get this. Most entrepreneurs are just learning how to put the ball in the hole, but they're starting super far away. They're starting 300 yards away from the hole. And so they have to become amazing salespeople or copywriters because they're trying to sink the ball in the hole in one swing. But if you build an audience, that's called marketing. And marketing, like by documenting the process and being good to the people who follow you, that's putting the ball closer and closer to the hole. So that when it comes time to take a sale, you just tap it in, just tap-a-roo. This is why we do $10,000 launches with our students, because we work on getting the ball really close to the hole by building audiences. If you don't build an audience, then you're always beholden to Amazon or ClickBank or Facebook ads or whatever the sales vehicle is. But if you've got an audience that actually likes you, that has been following your work and reading your emails, then you don't have to work very hard to tap the ball into the hole. And that's why I tell Nikhil that he should not hire out a bunch of copy and do all this wacky whack marketing that most people do. They have to do that because they're not doing the hard work that Nikhil is doing. But since he's already doing it, and you should too, you don't need to be a really good salesperson to make a ton of money.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think this is something that we're working towards for like a September 1 launch.
So when you are going in this direction, who is the ideal person that is going to get the greatest result from this? Is it somebody who is starting a new business, an existing content creator, or somebody else?
The ideal client is someone who already has their first 500 to 1,000 subscribers, and it maybe took them a year to get there. I did one-on-one coaching to realize this became my ideal client, but they have some experience. So they have that base, and then I can just if I tell them to do something, they have the capacity to execute on it. And then I think for a lot of people in that position, I could get them one video that'll break 100,000 views if they already have some talent camera. And I think the 100,000 view marker is like a big milestone of success for a lot of people on video. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're describing my brother. I'm in Ohio visiting him right now. He does DIY videos and he's awesome at it.
Yeah.
Like 1,400 subscribers, took him a year to get there. Yep. So I'm picking up what you're laying down, and that first 100,000 views is everything to them. It's everything. Mm-hmm. And then of course, if you layer this on top of it, what does 100,000 views mean to a business? That's 100,000 people who see your work. It's 100,000 people who have a chance to drive up the value of your YouTube channel. It's the first $1,000 in YouTube ad revenue. It's the first 1,000 customers if you're a business that sells something. Like the 100,000 views has real tangible monetary value. Mm-hmm. So if you could give somebody that shift of the first 100, that's such a good hook, by the way. You should absolutely run with it. The first 100,000 view video, like that is so good.
Okay, cool.
So what is somebody willing to pay for their first 100,000 view video?
If they had no fear, this will do this, I think they would pay up to 5,000.
Me too.
But yeah.
Me too. What do you think you're going to charge for that transformation?
I was thinking 2,000.
Okay.
A lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to value their product for what it's actually worth. And so they devalue it and they look at what everybody else is charging and they try to be middle of the road, not too cheap, not too expensive. But the proper way to value what you bring to the world is what it's worth to the other person when they achieve that result. It's not how much effort you put in. It's not how hard you work. It's not even how much time it took for you to get the result. In fact, if it takes less time for them to get the result, it should be worth more to them. So I tell Nikhil that he should do fewer videos, that he should do as little as possible to get the person the result. He is in the results business, not the content creation business. And when you're thinking about the result that you're getting for the other person and what that is worth to them, all of a sudden it becomes very easy to see why your product is worth way more than you previously thought.
It's funny, if this was a personal development call, I would dive really deep into this with you.
Yeah.
Because you have some beliefs about money that don't need to be there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because all we need to analyze here is what is it worth to the other person? And if you look at a business or let's just call it an aspiring entrepreneur. My brother's a cop, but you would call him an aspiring entrepreneur because he has a hobby that he'd love to monetize.
Yeah.
And if my brother knew how to get 100,000 view videos over 10 years, what is that worth to him?
I mean, over 10 years is worth many millions, actually.
Many millions?
Yeah.
Tell me why it's worth many millions.
Oh, if you consistently get 100,000 views on a video, even for 1 year, that's worth, maybe in the millions. If you were selling products off of it, it just like, that's what your whole book is about. Like 100,000 impressions for the product. In a year, it's probably already worth $1 million. So
what is it worth over 5 years?
Yeah.
10 years?
Yeah. Many millions. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and I'm going somewhere with this. Tell me what someone could do with that.
Man, just be completely set up, do whatever they want with their life outside of work, and never have to think about money from a survival point ever again. Right.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's like, that puts you in the 0.1% of human existence, So yeah.
So do you think someone would be willing to spend $2,000 to never have to worry about money again, do exactly what they want to do, have people pursuing them to be the influencer in their space? Do you think that someone would be willing to spend that?
Yeah, 100%. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you still laugh or feel tenseness over this idea of charging $2,000 for that result?
No, I guess not.
My favorite people in the world to work with are people who are used to monetizing their brand with ads and sponsorships, and they don't want to do that anymore because it's soul sucking.
Yeah.
And you'll make the same amount helping one person have an awesome shift in their life.
Yeah.
So what we just went through over the last 5 to 10 minutes is all the copy you would ever need in your life. So it opens with, what would it mean if you could consistently produce 100,000 views on every YouTube video that you upload?
Mm-hmm.
That's your opening move. That is your opening line of copy. And then you describe what that would mean. What does 100,000 views mean in terms of how you spend your time? What does it mean in terms of ad revenue that it produces? What does that mean in terms of brand sponsorships that creates? What does that mean in terms of products that you can sell? What does it mean for your own confidence and your family believing in you? What does it mean for your own momentum and energy behind this hobby that you've created? What does it mean in terms of how you feel when you wake up in the morning looking forward to doing this thing that's been on the side for so many years? Now, what does it mean for the next year? What does it mean for the next 5 years? What does it mean for the next 10 years? If you knew that you could create that result, would you be willing to learn for the next 8 weeks how to do it from someone who's done it consistently for the last several years?
Mm-hmm. You fucking did that. That was insane. I hired a copywriter. This is way better than that.
All I am doing is hearing what you're saying and saying it back to you in a way that you believe and can confidently show up in front of the camera and say or write with conviction, knowing that it's true. Because what most people do in copywriting is they're really trying to sell something they don't believe in. So it feels icky. But when you believe your own shit, it doesn't matter what you say, it clicks. That's sales. That's real sales, which is also why I'm not trying to get you to do a business model that you don't want to do, because there will be no conviction behind it. But since you got conviction behind this, and you know that it would get someone this result, and you know that it's worth the money if they'll do the work. Done. So now you need 50 people a month. So in this call, we've identified who it's for. We've identified what we're going to charge, what the business is going to be. Let's go through the how a little bit.
Okay.
So you were talking about 80 modules, and I'm exhausted hearing that.
Oh, okay.
So are you planning on recording this or teaching it live?
I was planning on. So with my one-on-one clients, I end up saying so much of the same stuff, the beginner things that they need to know. So I said, okay, how about I just turn that into modules? Because I'm like, you need to know this anyway, right? So instead of us getting on a call, just go watch this, do the homework assignment at the end of this, and then let's talk, because then we can go on to the next step. So I was maybe someone told me I should make 80 modules to give that sense of volume.
Oh, that sounds awful. If you had a client who was paying you to help them get a girlfriend, which is more valuable for them, to spend the next year meeting lots of women and going on lots of dates, or you saying, I know the perfect girl for you, you should meet?
Oh, obviously the second one. Yeah.
Okay. But the first one is more value perception.
Yeah.
It's a year with you.
Yeah.
But that's not what they want. They want to meet the girl.
Yeah.
So in the same way, creating 80 modules of value is not as valuable as I'm just going to show you what you need to do to get 100,000 views.
Okay.
So I disagree with this person's advice.
Cool.
I think you should do the minimum to get them the result. What is the least that they need to know in order to get the result? Because the truth is, less than half of people are going to watch all the content. So what can you get them in their face that they will actually watch and do in order to get closer to the result? That may end up being 12 videos. Now, I don't know. I don't get 100,000 views, right? I need to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sit through 80 videos. My brother doesn't want to sit through 80 videos.
Yeah.
We want to go through what we need to know.
Yeah.
And so I would suggest you at least consider for the first round doing no recorded content and teaching all of it live.
Oh, okay.
And there's a couple reasons why. Like, you're going to launch this in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So you could launch on September 1st, start the course on October 1st, spend all of September promoting it with a very hard deadline of when they need to join, and teach it all live so you can work out your teaching points. You can figure out what's going to hit, because some of the things that you teach are going to strike people in ways that you don't expect them to, and you don't know what those things are right now. So you do the course if that's what you feel compelled to do and that you're excited to do, but please have a live component, even if it is straight Q&A. Yeah. Hey guys, hope you went through the content. If you didn't go through the content, don't ask a question today, because I probably answered your question in the content, but this is your time. Who's got a question? Raise your hand.
Oh, okay. That's great.
Like, it could be as simple as that. But I would strongly advise you to have a live component, at least for the first go, so that you work out all your talking points.
No, that makes sense. That was definitely the intention. What I was thinking is so based on what you're saying, not 80 modules, maybe 12 modules. I actually genuinely think I could say everything I want to say in 12. I've already shot 6. 12 is fine, right? 12 is just like
and like, you see, this is a selling point. It's like, by the way, I do not need 80 hours of your time to help you get to 100,000 views. My goal is to help you get to 100,000 views as fast as possible, which means you're going to start seeing the momentum by weeks 2 and 3. And by the time you're done with week 12, you are going to be consistently on the road to 100,000 views. Of course, that's assuming that you do what I tell you what to do, which is your responsibility. I can show you what to do. And if you do it over 12 weeks, you'll be consistently doing it. Like that's a clear, sexy promise.
Okay.
All right, so we've covered what his product is going to be and how he's going to launch it and how he's going to create it in a way that adds value to his people without taking away from his audience. Now we're going to go over into the nitty-gritty tactical stuff of how he's going to market it and take sales.
Is it okay if we spend a couple minutes talking about the how to sell it?
Dude, of course.
Okay.
This is amazing.
Okay, so first of all, do you have an email list that you talk specifically about business stuff to?
It's kind of my musings for the week, and it's not a very big email list. Yeah.
Okay. How big is the email list?
4,000-ish. Okay. It's definitely some discussion every week on YouTube, but
and how do those people join the list? How do they find it?
So there, sometimes in my description box on my comedy sketches, I will just say, hey, like I did one on Andrew Tate, like a comedy sketch. And I said, if you really want to be a top striker, join the Captain Sinbad newsletter. stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do have a lead magnet as well. Like the 5 rituals I do every day is like a free ebook, but I just prefer to say like, sign up for my newsletter, so I don't know.
What I'm going to suggest in terms of your how-to, like how you sell this, is to start a second list that is your YouTube list.
Okay.
And what this is the people who are voluntarily giving you permission to sell them on your YouTube course. So this is going to be a very small segment of your list. But in my book, I call this the hot list.
Yep.
This is a group of people that raise their hand and say, I want to buy this thing whenever it's ready. So when you send out your weekly newsletter, you include hey, for anybody who watches my YouTube videos and says, hey, I want to do that, I want to build a business around it, I'm going to be putting together a cohort for this. Click this link to be subscribed to that list. And only like 10% of people are going to click it and go over there. But that's fine. You only need a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people to do a lot of damage. Dude, I am going to make you a millionaire so fast. I can almost guarantee you. Yeah. Like, I'm so confident. Wow. So you create a URL that's captainsinbad.com/YouTube, right? And all that does is forward over to the opt-in for people to say, here's your headline. I want to have 100,000 views per video. Enter your email. Like that's all you need.
Okay.
Someone enters their email. Great. So glad you want to have 100,000 consistent views on your video. I'll let you know as soon as it's ready. Okay. So there's your hot list. That's all you need to do for your hot list. Then when you do YouTube content, like however you decide to use this content, or if you're documenting your own personal journey of building $1 million business, you're talking about the ins and outs, and like, I feel a lot of resistance around this, and I'm really wrestling with this. You're documenting the journey, which I assume you're going to do. You loosely work in that URL, which is, so like one of the things I'm doing is I don't want to sell my audience. I don't want to pitch them on my stuff. I want my audience to be free to follow my stuff with no ask and no expectation. So one of the things I did is I set up a separate URL. It's captainsinbad.com/YouTube. And I'm just sending my newsletter subscribers and my YouTube followers over to captainsinbad.com/YouTube. And those are the people who raise their hand and say, it's okay for you to tell me about my course. And what that has done is it's freed me up to continue to make content that I want to make that's good for my followers without any of them feeling pitched. And if anybody wants to discover how they can get 100,000 consistent views on a video, they just go over to that URL and they raise their hand and they give me permission to sell them. I'm a terrible salesperson, but that gives them all the information that they need in order to buy that course. So do you see what we did in that little snippet? Like, it pitched it. Anybody who wants it can go get it. And in fact, there's actually more bonding with you because I just heard you don't want to sell me. You're not going to hard sell me. And I have to voluntarily raise my hand to go over there and be sold. But anybody who resonates with, I want 100,000 views per video, is going to go over there. And I think you will be very surprised at how many people voluntarily go over there and enter their email address and then buy the course, because you took that approach rather than trying to sell.
I think it's cool how you use honesty as your tactic so often.
Big takeaway here: build an email list, even if it's tiny. Email them once a week on product updates and what's coming. And if you do just that, when it comes time to sell your product, you're gonna have sales. Maybe not a ton, maybe not $1 million business right out of the gate, but you have people lined up ready to buy on day one. And when you see that, that's when the momentum starts. Do only that, and you'll be far ahead of most people who try to get into this game without it.
This has all been super valuable. Like, I just am excited to execute on it. I'm excited. I'm a little bit afraid too. It's like, I'm almost afraid to see that money come in. Like, I feel like guilty.
That's interesting. Well, tell me why.
This is my favorite part of the call, because we're gonna dive under the hood and see what's actually holding Nikhil back. And you can have all the strategies, you can have the step-by-step plan to make $1 million in 12 months, but if you don't have your mindset right, and if you have conflicting things in your brain holding you back, then you're not gonna do any of it. So we go in and dive into what is this for Nikhil and how to unclog those pipes so they can actually do the plan that we just spent the last 45 minutes making super clear for him. And when you see this, you're gonna see what's holding you back too.
Is freedom the most important thing to you?
I think so. I think the potency to pursue my dreams is the most important thing.
The potency to pursue your dreams. Tell me what
money allows, I guess it is my way of saying freedom. It's like, I want to be a film director as my long-term ambitions. And if I had a solid financial base, then I could really just make the exact YouTube videos I want. Cinematography is an expensive sub niche of YouTube. Yeah. And so I could let that hobby stay expensive and make like the most visually striking YouTube videos possible. And it almost seems like the fear of getting closer to your dreams is kind of what it means to me, I guess. Like, oh, I'm getting
no. I don't think that's it.
No?
Sorry, I go a lot on gut feel. So you can tell me if I'm ever way off, but I don't think that's the case with you.
Okay.
So I think it is more, my gut on you is more that you pride yourself on doing a very good job. Most people who are big into cinematography feel that way, like doing an impeccable, almost perfectionist job. And so when you think about this course, you had resistance to the idea of charging $2,000 for something that could radically change someone's life, right? There's a consistent like perfectionist thing coming up for you. If you see a lot of sales at $2,000 come in and you believe that you have to be perfect for all of those things, that takes you out of the energy of pursuing your dream, because now you believe that you're going to have to spend a ton of time and resources justifying that you just made $150,000 in 9 minutes. Making $150,000 is not worth giving up the pursuit of your dreams.
I see.
So the way that we can recode that in your mind is, how does making a whack ton of money in the simplest way possible that helps other people with their dreams fulfill your pursuit of your dreams? They're the same if you can view it that way. And so how do we create a course that is excellent, that helps the most number of people in the best way possible, while limiting your time so that you can go pursue your dream? And we do that by helping the customer have the greatest shift in the shortest amount of time, charging a nominal but fair amount of money, and doesn't compromise your service of your audience, which is what I believe we've done in this conversation.
No, totally. I think honestly, I feel like you've saved me many months in 40 minutes. It's kind of crazy.
All right, there you have it. We just built $1 million profit engine in the last 45 minutes. We chose the product that was most exciting for him to create, not what the marketplace said that it wanted. What does Nikhil actually want to do? Second, we came up with a way to build credibility with his audience without compromising what he's already doing, and put them onto a hot list where he can be very honest and transparent in the marketing process, but only to people who raised their hand and said, I want to pay for this thing. We also simplified the product process so that it's enjoyable to fulfill and doesn't compromise his dreams. And if he follows this plan, he's going to have $1 million business over the next year. If you watched this and you have an audience of at least 100,000 people, I would love to help you on a call like this. Shoot me an email at ryan@capitalism.com and let me know a little bit about your audience. I love working with people who have done the hard work of building a loyal following. And I enjoy this conversation of seeing how we can create a great business leveraging the audience that you've built without compromising your goodwill in the marketplace. If you've done the hardest work and you'd like to hop on a call like this one, just email me at ryan@capitalism.com. And as long as I can use it for content on YouTube, we'll do it for free. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you found $1 million worth of value in it, and let me know what you thought in the comments. See you next time.